So here it goes again, you probably tell yourself. You're in a room, a total stranger is in front of you, and for the next 20 minutes, me, the stranger, is going to give you in much detail the entire history of a company you've never heard about, my company, with lots and lots of different advantages of our product and how paying a $25 a month will change your life. And then when it's over, you'll probably say, we'll think about it and we'll part ways, and you'll get every few months a follow-up email for us. You have been down that road, and so have we. It's not interesting, boring even, and it's not who we are. Instead, when I'm thinking about the right way to quickly and accurately present who we are, I prefer to imagine we are not in this meeting room. I'd like to think we're in a social gathering. You know, it's a party, there are a few drinks. We know the host and a bunch of people, and then we come across each other. Hey there, what's up? Cheers. We start a small conversation. What's your name? I'm Itai. What are you doing here? I'm friends with the host. Do you have a family? Yeah, sure, I have a wife and 3 kids. What are you doing for a living? Here the social gathering etiquette kicks in. I cannot start going on and on about my job and like in a conventional meeting go into too much detail. So I say something like, I work in this distributed company, meaning we're all over the world, called Unio. We're doing AdTech, education technology stuff. Interesting, you might say. What kind of stuff? And here I always pause a bit. You know, how do you distill your day-to-day job to a single sentence? But it's possible, so I say something like, in a bit simplistic way, we basically have like an online web application that allows teachers to prepare kind of PowerPoint lessons and then in the computer classroom broadcast those lessons to the kids' devices and interact with them in real time. At this point I always get the same exact 2 questions, in the same exact order even. The first is, aren't there like gazillion more products like that? Not gazillion I say, way less, but yeah, there are a few. But there are also hundreds of brands of cereals. Most are rubbish, some are good. I'd like to think we're recognized with the good ones. We're pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, we are awesome. And then comes the second question. I love it, because when I hear it, I know the conversation isn't dying. After all, we are all in a social gathering and no one wants to be the boring person. And the question is, how do you convince teachers to use computers? And the simple answer is, I don't. Folks, when we imagine a classroom, and it hardly matters if you are older or younger than me, if you're a boy or a girl, if you're from Europe or not, we'll probably imagine almost the same kind of classroom. There is a class, there's a whiteboard or a chalkboard, and there is a teacher in front of kids. Maybe there is a projector, or maybe there is not, maybe the tables are in rows, or maybe they are in circles, but in the end, our shared imagination is probably has a very similar iconic classroom. But a matter of fact is that many schools for many years already have classrooms with computers or tablets. I'm not talking about the future, I'm talking about the present. You probably know it. Either you have been in one, or maybe you have kids, or you may have family member children that are using those classes. And this is where we go in, and we have a different kind of message, a very down-to-earth one. We're not looking at revolutionizing the education. Or maybe we are, but even if we are, we're taking it in baby steps, which are closer to the market. We're not saying we'll make the teacher's life, your life, a paradise. We're just saying you have already embraced the future, or the present, or let's say you have embraced reality by having those computers, classrooms. Let's just get the most out of it. Those computers that are already in the classroom, you can imagine how it looks. Either the kids are zombies, each one in front of their own device, like kids with cell phones, or the teacher is just giving a frontal class, same as a normal class, only it happens to be with computers inside. Unio is trying, and I would argue that it's also succeeding, in bringing a more hybrid approach. Listen, very broadly speaking, people want 3 things. Maybe more, right? They want food and shelter and all the basic stuff. But after that, and pardon the simplification, people want the 3 things: more money, better use of their time, and appreciation for what they've done. And don't argue with me about those items. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I'm trying to make a point over here. So if we talk about teachers making more money, I'm afraid, we can't help there. Maybe in some awkward way, that's not our goal. We concentrate on the latter 2 things. Better use of the time, before the class, while in the class, after the class, and appreciation. Being able to present what you've done to your colleagues, to your friends, to your family, to your boss. And same thing goes actually also to the students. it applies to them as well. In some way, they also want to have a better use of their time, and they surely want to get appreciation for what they've done. So let's start saying what we're talking about. So this is the Unio dashboard. I'm a teacher. This is my dashboard where I can see all the different lessons that I've prepared, the ongoing lesson and the future lessons. And I'm going to a specific lesson. I call it marine exploration. And while I've said it's like PowerPoint, it actually isn't too PowerPoint in the sense that there aren't as many tools. It's not as feature-rich as PowerPoint is for a reason. We're coming from the educational field. We know that teachers don't want to learn how to operate complex software. Not everybody is a power user, not everybody is an early adopter, and in all honesty, a lot of teachers are not necessarily very tech savvy. So we try to find a balance between complexity and between being able to prepare an appealing lesson. And then I'm emphasizing the word appealing. Look over here. I mean, yeah, we have Unio dashboard and everything, but the slides, the presentation that the kids will actually see is a beautiful background picture, which we've laid down correctly, and then we have the text with the subject. It has the right font, it has the right color, it's positioned nicely, and all of that is done with Unio's tools. And then I can go on and add another slide, and I can add another image, and I can position that image on the left, and I can write some text and, scale the text, scale the image, change some of the text to be bold, rotate it, change colors, yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. I can go ahead and add a video, and then I can prepare a poll or a quiz. So after we've seen the video as a class, each kid can answer a few questions, which me as the teacher I'll be able to see obviously in real time. I can then everything that I'm preparing, I can later on obviously edit and improve from one lesson to another, adding more question, reducing question, and so on. And then I can add an image of a classroom chalkboard just to emphasize the irony and tension between traditional classrooms and the edtech. And then when I'm ready, I'm clicking on the Start Lesson button, and then I can actually share it and present it to the kids in the class. So the kids in the class basically see this pin code 5582, a completely random pin code, and then the only thing that they need to go in order to attend this class is say, I'm a student, this is the pin code, and this is the first name. And it's important to highlight that when it comes to students, also for teachers, but more importantly for students, they have the right to be forgotten. Meaning, when Jack goes in the classroom, we're actually assigning him a disposable user. We don't track the student, we don't try to sell their data, we don't try to send them into different ads. Like I said, we're trying to be part of the good serials and not the bad ones. So, Jack went in using the highlight tool. He highlights a few words that the teacher has asked, and the teacher is able to go in and see every student and interact with them. So, as a teacher, I'm able to see exactly what Jack is doing. The other teammates are not necessarily able to see. It all depends on the access and restriction that we have on the class. And as a teacher, I'm able to interact with Jack, and in this occasion, just give him a happy face. I'm able to run a poll, get the results in real time, restart the poll, download the results for later use. So there are obviously more features, but here are the more important points rather than going over every single feature. Schools have computers. Your school has computers. The question is, are you getting the most out of it? Are teachers getting the most out of it, and are students getting the most out of it? Are students sitting like zombies? Is it in an antisocial activity, or is it on the other hand a regular lesson which happens to be in a class filled with computers? Can your teachers have a better use of the time? Can your teacher have better ways to be proud about their hard work they are doing? And what about the students? This is what Unio brings to the table. So in this screen, for example, you can see our new designs, the one that we're going to implement in one of our new versions that will just be part of the web application. So we're constantly improving, we're constantly getting feedback back from the field, back from the classrooms, and we're constantly looking at the needs of the teachers and the needs of the students and making sure that Unio answered those needs. And the reason we are here is to invite you because we want you folks, you the teachers, your students, to take part of this journey with us. Thank you very much.